Welcome back, everyone. Today I have a very special video for you, which is the Occult Tarot and the Demon Tarot. So what I want to do is I want to do a comparison of these two decks and show you guys just how excellent both of them are, and then I'm going to tell you which one that I pick as my favorite deck. So again, we're going to be going over the Occult Tarot by Travis McKinney. I just got this today. I got this morning in the mailbox when I woke up. It's pretty cool. And then we're going to go over the Demon Tarot of Ariana Osborne. This is a deck I've had for a while. Very similar cards, very similar size. Let's start with the Demon Tarot. Now, the first thing I'm going to say about this tarot deck is it does come with a bitchin' book. You can see the size of it. This is pretty straightforward. Basically, it is going to give you some background and history on the spirits themselves. The thing to remember with this deck is this is not a traditional tarot deck. These are cards that have descriptions of the demons and then a divination meaning behind each card. So it is similar to tarot, but not in the sense that you have suits like cups and swords and pentacles and stuff like that. Okay? Beautiful art, really, for someone that is into demonology. This is a bitchin' book. So so you have your annotation, you have your inspiration, which is basically going in depth about the spirit and the history behind it, and then the divination for this particular character, Ibigor, is focus on fostering loyalty and building teamwork skills. Okay, so you get the point. It covers all 72 Goetia spirits, and there's some extra spirits that are not necessarily in our normal Goetia book. And if you don't know what the Goetia is, I think this classic will describe. You can see that this is basically the same art. It's this book is a must-have for any ceremonial magician, by the way. I'll get into Goetia books later because that's a whole other subject. But anyway, let's get right into this deck. So I'm not real sure if the book gives us any example spreads. It more than likely does. Let me look at the table of contents. I know that's usually something. It's just listing each one alphabetically, basically. So if I need to find Zephyr, I know it's going to be in the back of the book. So there's not a big stretch of the imagination. I don't believe it has example spreads. So that's one thing to keep in mind. It's not telling you in any way, shape, or form really how to use these cards. What I typically do is I do a 3-card spread and I say, okay, who do I need to work with? What do I need to work with? And then I do my spread, and whatever cards come up after 2 or 3 different spreads, then I would assume that those are the spirits that are interested in working with me. I know that our friend VK Jahannam has a bitchin' deck called Luciferian deck, and I've seen he's got a lot of the decks that I have. He doesn't have a million of them like I do, but I think that when he does a lot of his readings, he does use this same deck. So if you're into VK, know that a lot of his practice probably, he does rely upon this particular deck. I'm just going to thoroughly mix here, and we're going to go card by card. So For example, this deck is cool because I'll tell you right now, give you a couple of examples. Okay. These 3 cards. This is not a traditional Goetia spirit, but it does have a description, which is really cool at the bottom of the card that describes, God, if my eyes can even read this fine print, that gives you a brief description. Okay. Traditional demonic art. I'm not sure if this is a Tom Duplancy art or if he's just the one that wrote the book, but Paradise Lost is what I'm referring to. Again, another spirit that I'm not familiar with. So there's 72 Goetia spirits, but there's 78 cards in this deck, which I think is what they did to fill in the blank to make it more of a thick deck. Like this spirit. I don't know who the fuck that is. Okay. Obviously someone that's missing from the traditional. I have to say, out of all the depictions of Goetia spirits, I love that depiction of him. Hello, sir. Okay. Beelzebub. Andras. Again, another spirit I'm not familiar with. Okay. So you get my point. This is what the back of the cards look like. I have a strange depiction of a very, very obscene looking creature standing over a woman in a bizarre background. I enjoy these cards. I've used them a lot. I've connected to these pretty good. So that being said, let's move on to our second demon deck, and I will explain to you my feelings about it. Now, I recently watched a video by Melinda K. Lyons. Melinda is a psychic medium and a demonologist, and even though she is not a big fan of connecting with demons for her own obvious, very personal reasons, she did go over this deck, and I have to concur. I think it's funny that it's referred to as the Occult Tarot. So you can see this book is much smaller. Very similar. I love it. I don't have a problem with it. Very nice glossy pages. Little history, little background, preparation for offerings. This is more of a working Goetia spirit deck. Now, the cool thing is, like I mentioned before, this gives you a traditional spread and an explanation of what you would get out of that. Okay, so there is a suggestion on how to use these cards. And I love this artist. In fact, my screen background right now is a similar piece. I've been seriously considering a tattoo with something like that. The traditional Satan falling, Lucifer falling pictures. It has a section called the 6 Rulers: Azazel, Baphomet, Beelzebub, Lucifer, Jorphakel, and Moloch. Then it gets into the 72 demons. So it's pretty cool that they included all that. The thing I love about these cards is it has the symbol, the sigil of the spirits at the bottom. Okay. They're traditional Solomonic symbols. For example, this card says Zephyr. It says causes women to love men and bring them together in love, can make women barren, which means cannot have children. So, quick flip through about the author. Again, more amazing Luciferian satanic art. For those of you who are fans of spirits like I am, I have a great reverence for the Goetia spirits, for all spirits, really, from a creation point of view. So I make no judgment upon what they are. I think each of us has our own experience with them. I've had very good experiences. Some of you may have had absolutely horrible experiences, depending on just what has happened to you. So, if you look at the back of this card, I would say when it comes to card stock, this is middle of the road. Not too thin, not too thick. Okay. It is not real laminated, so it's going to be hard. Like just now, I noticed they don't slide very well upon each other. They're kind of a flat matte texture. There's not a whole lot of extra shine on these cards, but I like that. And as you can see, this is the seal of Solomon, the seal that's put upon the brass vessel. Okay, so here's Andros. I love how this card has a splash of blood on it, like someone, it looks like someone made a sacrifice to him. It's really, and I believe that might be some Enochian writing on that card. It says, Sower of Discord, Slayer of Men. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and use this guy here, because I have a curse coming up that I need to do for a good friend, Demonic Angel. And I'm going to enlist him. My internal dialogue with him is saying, use Andros. And with good reason, because he's a bad motherfucker. So anyway, let's check out another couple of cards. Absolutely stunning. I like this because some of these images stray away from your typical images. Look like that one. Amy looks more like a cloud. You can see her sigil very clearly. Also has the ruling angel at the bottom, I believe. And Voss. Okay. This person that publishes this deck, that created this deck, also makes an angel deck, which I'm very, very tempted to buy, because I do want to start working with the 72 Shimham Farash angels. If you know anything about them, they are the governing angels over the demonic spirits. This is an interesting one. I have never seen this depiction of Vapula. Okay. Zagon. Another unique depiction. This is a traditional depiction of Valak. Again, I'm seeing a lot of different depictions. I showed you Amy, or Aim. Aim and Amy are two different demons, I think. Very similar to the other deck. Okay. But I love the simplicity of this deck. There's another deck that's very similar. It's got... I own all the decks that have these depictions on them. The ones that are out of print I can't get, but... so I will tell you, Andromelis, that's bitchin'. That's a really cool depiction of him. Dantalion. Great reverence for Dantalion. Okay, I don't want to spoil the deck, so I'm not going to go through every single card. So, what I want to leave you with is this. These are both great decks. I think you're going to find they're around the same price. In fact, I think the Daemon Tarot is actually a little more affordable than the Occult Tarot. I'll tell you how I would use these decks now, because I have a third deck that's actually a third Demon deck that's exactly like this. I'm going to show you it now, but I'm not going to review it because I want to save it for a separate review. But I'm going to show you it's the Fallen Angel Oracle deck. So all three of these decks are going to basically give you all of the 72 Goetia spirits in card form. Now the reason this is cool is because if you're starting to work with the Goetia, you now have all 72 of them at your fingertips. And if you're going to use your pendulum in a traditional tarot spread with your divination system, so let's say that I am getting ready to curse someone, and that's my goal. Okay, I'm going to go here. Okay, deck, who do I need to work with for this curse? Lucifer. If I feel unsatisfied, who would also be a good assistant? Eligos. And again, I suggest really, really going through your cards and mixing them super thoroughly in whatever means you would like. If you like to do it like a normal card deck and all that. Oh, by the way, this is kind of cool that it's got this reflective red gold quality on the edge. I've never seen that before. This is this deck is pretty unique in just the what they put into it. So what I would do if I was going to curse someone, and that's my goal, is I would use these decks with my internal instinct to figure out who it is that I'm looking for. Get your spirit lined up and then incorporate him using the actual card with the curse. So here's another example. Let's say you got your traditional tarot. You're going to do a spread, a 10-card spread, to see what will the result, what do I need to do for this curse to be effective. So I'm going to do a 10-card spread, and then I'm going to see what the cards tell me. Based on what that tells me, I'm then going to move on, use the demon decks, probably both of them, mix both cards, choose 2 to 3 different demons. Then I'm going to go, and I have this cool Zodiac Oracle deck. So this has the 4 elemental cards in it, and the entire Zodiac, and I believe also the planetary cards. Let me just open it real quick. I won't spoil the deck for you. I just wanted to see before I go giving out any false information. Look at the background here. Yes, planetary, zodiac, and elemental. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all my zodiac cards out of this deck. I'm going to put them in one pile. I'm going to get my planetary cards out. I'm going to put them in one pile. I'm going to get my elemental cards out. I'm going to put them in one pile. I'm going to use that as a platform to ask about the victim, the target, to figure out their makeup. So I'm going to invoke the elements, invoke the zodiac, look at his zodiac traits, look at his or her elemental background, and I'm going to look at the planetary at the planets that are governing or are over or influencing this individual, because then you can manipulate better. So that's just a little tip du jour about curses. I always tell people curses are my cup of tea. Not because I like to curse people, but because there are so many people who do deserve it, and who treat people and act in such a way that it does warrant a little revenge. So anyway, I digress as usual, but I just want to say thank you again, my friends, for subscribing to my channel. Recently, I've had so many subscriptions and comments and wonderful, wonderful, beautiful people that are interested in this subject of occultism and devil worship and black magic and all the other amazing things that connect us to this path. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was informative. And if you're on the edge about either of these decks, you know what? They're not expensive. I would go get them both and just do what I do. If you like it, get it. You know what? If I buy a deck and I think it's a joke, I just give it away to a friend. I mean, you're typically talking 20, 30 bucks. I'm going to use it a few times. If I don't connect with it, I'll either keep it and as part of my collection, or I'll give it to someone that I know will use it. So you have nothing to fear when it comes to these two decks, my friends. More to come later, and dark blessings.